Okay, to get the feathering shaft off, what I'm going to do is take two 3mm Allen wrenches and stick them down each blade grip. And go ahead and just unscrew it. And I think this side's coming off. Go ahead and just unscrew this all the way. Alright, here we go. So first you can see you've got a screw with a washer. Go ahead and pull this off. And right here you've got one single brass washer. Then right here is the rubber bushing. There's no other washers there. And on the back side of this is just the bearing. So down inside here though, go ahead and pull this off. First you got, there we go. So you've got the thrust bearing here. You've got two washers that have grooves on them. Got the bearing. Now the bearing has a closed side. It's also got an open side. Now the open side is where you want to pack the grease. And then when you install this in the blade grip, you want the open side down. Alright. So that gets sandwiched together. So anyway, and down in here a little further, see if I can get these out. Alright. We have a washer, bearing, and another washer. So starting from the blade grip, you have this, you have the blade grip, washer, bearing, washer, another washer, bearing, washer, bolt and screw. Now, one other thing here I want to show you. These two washers are not the same. One of them has a bigger hole than the other one. The easiest way to tell is take it and put it on, and you can see, try to wiggle it, and one of them will wiggle just a little bit, and the other one will wiggle a whole lot. So the one that wiggles a whole lot, you want that one inside, then the bearing, then the one that wiggles just a little bit. And that's how it's going to stack on there. So, now, pull this side out here. You can see here, the rubber O-rings, rubber bushings rather, that are in the head, they just pull out. There's two of them. Right. And let's see. Yeah, this blade grip. Go ahead and take this out. So, the problem that I was having with this blade grip not wanting to twist, what I found out was the hole is not drilled perfectly straight through all the way down. It's just off just enough that when this is all inserted, these washers here bind up against the hole in there. So what I ended up doing is I took a little rotary tool and just kind of ground down the inside of it just enough, and then that way I could get it so that when I get this all inserted, that now it'll turn a lot better than it would. So that was my solution. So now what I'm going to do is just grease the bearings and go ahead and get this all put back together. So when I grease the bearings, what I'm going to do is I am going to be using just some white lithium grease, and again I'm going to spray this into the open side, and this can be messy. Let me see here. Alright, now it's got in all them bearings there. It's kind of wipe it around to get off the excess. now all greased up and ready to install. So I'm going to go ahead and put this all back together and make sure to use a little blue thread locker on these bolts that hold the feathering shaft in. And then I'm going to go ahead with assemble the whole head, get this all put back together. And the one exception being is when I assemble it, I'm not going to use these little pins for the fly bar cage. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and insert the actual fly bar. And the fly bar is in with the tail boom. You can see here. So I'll be assembling it with the fly bar in. See, it's got these little notches cut out of it. Alright, let me get to it. Okay, so one other very important thing about the head on the 600 GT. Now the early ones, the pins are too short. They get pressed in too far. And they get pressed in, leaving only 18 millimeters of the pin exposed. Well, you need to have 23 millimeters of the pin exposed. And you can see here, I've already pulled the one out. So what I've done is I actually just took a regular lighter and just heated this up until it was hot as I could get it, and then just took a pair of pliers and, you know, just worked it back and forth and pulled it out. It did take a lot of force, but I was able to get it out. And then what I did was I actually took some really, really strong super glue and put a little glue on the end of the pin and put it in there and just tapped it into place while using a measure, you know, a digital calipers to measure to make sure that it pushed it in too far. So you can see here the difference. You know, it's a 5 millimeter difference here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the other one. You know, like I said, it's gonna heat it up, pull it out, put some thread locker on there. You could also some red thread locker. You can use that, which is a permanent thread locker. Or, like I said, I'm using extremely strong super glue to glue that in there. So, but expect to have to do that, and it can be a pain in the butt, but it's not really that hard actually. So.